name is Robbie N. I live here on the Big Island of Hawaii. I'm involved with Sri Yantra, which is a conscious raising tax-exempt organization. And I'm here to introduce Roberto Cassar, Dr. Roberto Cassar from Moorpark, California, who also owns property on the Big Island of Hawaii. I got to know him quite well many years ago at a sustainable conference that we were hosting down in the Pahoa area. And at this conference, every speaker was speaking about one form of sustainability. And we all brought to the table some individual and interesting concepts that I've been thinking about for many years since. Now we hear the word sustainable almost everywhere we go. Someone's talking about how we need to be more sustainable as a planet, as individuals, as people. And Dr. Cassar has a lot to say about this, and very profound things that not a lot of people have really thought about. And so it's a real treat to have him here. I would like to invite you to come a little closer. I know he's going to want to connect with you by seeing into your eyes. And if you're willing to, he would very much appreciate you to come forward a little bit, just so that there's a more of a give and take, two-way connection with you all, rather than just one person up here speaking. Perhaps as the afternoon progresses, we'll be able to dialogue a little bit. Dr. Cassar got his medical degree in chiropractic medicine. And he had one of the most successful practices in Southern California. And then he went on to work with a project, what he's calling Earth Shift Project. And it's all about preparing ourselves and our bodies physically to be able to be sustainable, to be optimal. He's identified a lot of the problems, the booby traps along the way, and he's identified the solutions for those booby traps that are all around us. He's a resource of information, and I don't want to take any more time from him because he's going to have a lot of really interesting things to say. So with that, Dr. Cassar.
Okay, I got a large voice, so if I got to figure out how close we're going to be here. To start out with, a lot of people really want to find out how to become healthy, wealthy, happy, and sustainable. So when we're really talking about sustainability, we're talking about a big picture here. The last speaker's name?
Brent.
Brent. Brent was talking about sustainability, which of course is a very broad term, and it's actually a buzzword. So when I talk about sustainability, we're talking about the body, the internal body becoming sustainable, functionable, and we're talking about once you become internally sustainable, which of course is a vibration, it's a thought pattern, it's a movement that makes you, whether you like it or not, become sustainable exterior. The body, of course, is the temple to this thing we call consciousness, and consciousness is something that you really can't talk about. All you can do is experience it and actually judge your own consciousness by looking back at yourself on the way things unfold. So when we talk about awareness, I'm going to talk about some things maybe that may jolt you a little bit. And it's nice for you to be able to, don't believe me. I don't want you to believe me. Remember, believe is sort of like a booby trap. That's one of the things we're going to be going over here. How do you spell believe? Okay, or belief, it's B-L-I-E. It's got a lion in there, so you got to really investigate a lot of the ideas and see where things actually go to. Now, we're going to talk about a spectrum of things. We're going to go down to the smallest of smallest particles called the quark. Okay, smaller than the electron, let's say. And we're going to go to the largest and largest and largest of things we know, which of course is the galaxy. That's a big broad bend. So, to start out things, one of the reasons why I'm here is because Zion wanted to talk about the 2012, or this this change that we're actually all hearing about. As you can see it, feel it, hear it, and smell it also, you know that there are some changes actually happening. Exterior, and there's changes happening interior. Everybody's changing, aren't we? We're all wanting different jobs, we're wanting different relationships, we don't like what we're doing, we're growing. And since, of course, this is a phenomenon, we want to go ahead and see, I'm an esotericist and I really like to see what's behind the veil. So a lot of people, you know, they say, hey, Dr. Cassar. Well, I've been sort of nicknamed Dr. Bizarre. You'll see why. We're going to talk about some bizarre things here. And the bizarre things we're going to talk about really only make I guess, a philosophical difference when we're all ready to see, feel, hear, and touch something else, of course, that previously we couldn't grab. Just like you were saying, Brent, about a lot of things we can't handle, we can't grasp, we can't get. So some of the things I'm going to talk about, you may not be able to grasp, but it's okay. Once you actually connect, the whole idea is connecting the dots. So we're going to connect some of the dots internally and, of course, externally, and just, you know, sort of see where things go. My whole idea here is to participate with other people once we ignite each other to really connect bigger dots, to expand what we do know. Talked about missions. Earthshift is to expand what we do know and expand what we do not know. And most of the things, remember, we need to know have already been invented. They're already been thought of. They're already here. All we have to do is bring them back to the table again. I heard someone talk in the audience before about Nikola Tesla. Okay? Hundreds of patents on wireless technologies. Hundreds of patents on ways to be able to become sustainable. It's not a good business. Remember, in business, we'll take that word like belief, and you'll see a lot of the words we use, we don't even really know where they come from, but we find out that they do have some type of symbolism or symbology. Look at business. B-U-S-I-N. You have to sin to do business, don't you? You have to hold secrets. How do you make a living? Well, if you tell everybody sometimes how you do things, then there is no business, is there? And so, really, a good business person is sort of like a good sinner. Okay? And not in all cases, but in a lot of cases here, what we have is we have a revealing right now at this time, and that's why there's a lot of commotion. Right now, if we talk about the cosmos, because now we're going to go real big for a second. We just finished the Piscean constellation. Has anybody heard of this constellation we're in right now? It's called the constellation of Pisces. And when you really look it up and do your homework, you'll see that the constellation of Pisces is a 2012-year constellation. I spoke the other day over at the Hawaiian Sanctuary, just to sort of break some ice on some ideas, philosophies, disciplines, and different possible realities. And one of the realities that we have right now is we have this constellation change. Who had the power 2,000 years ago to press a button? 0000 and start out this sort of time code. You know, you have to really look back. Remember, in order to see what we want to see, you have to step a picture back, step a few frames back, maybe 2 or 3, to become aware of becoming aware of becoming aware is very deep. So let's just talk about that for 1 second again. We're going to the cosmos now. We look up and we notice that there's 12 departments up in the cosmos. And this is important for all of us because we're all wondering, why is there so much change happening right now? How about there's different energy, there's different vibration, and of course those two things give us what's called consciousness. Body's an energy bracket, it's 18 gallons of salt water, it's a photochemical magnetic battery, isn't it so? And once you get this machine in a certain vibration or energy, as we say, the mind is controlled by the body. And if you see how, well, if it was your job to control 7 billion people, how would you do that? Okay? Consciousness, of course. So this is the revealing at this time. The constellation that we're leaving right now is a 2012-year constellation. Our sun, let's go through a little cosmos here. Our sun travels around us central star I call GC. On the planet Earth, the terrestrial plane, we call this sort of idea like Christ, JC, down here. But we're going cosmos. This is GC, Galactic Center, or Galactic Christ. So when you really look and see that the cosmos is made up of 12 different departments, and each department is approximately about 2,000 years, and each time our sun travels around this thing, this galactic center, we, the terrestrial inhabitants, and everything that swims in it becomes what that constellation or energy and vibration is heralding. So the constellation of Pisces was the constellation of duality. And duality means we really don't know too much, because that's part of the constellation. It's a constellation of non-light. You'll notice that the Pope, I'll go over this real quick here, the Pope wears a Maltese cross. So does Hitler. Pope has several of them on his body. Hitler wears one here. Okay, one prays, and the other one sort of does killing, let's say. Then we have the tip top of the British crown. That's, again, another Maltese cross. And the tip top of the British crown, of course, is symbolized by the maritime law. They run the seas, the British rule. And then when you see the kings and queens, they all wear this Maltese cross, or even if you go to one of the hotels here on the Big Island. And by the way, if anybody's listening to this, because we're going to be able to broadcast this later on, we're on the Big Island of Hawaii, and we're in a town called Honoka'a. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, Honoka'a.
Honoka'a. I think so. It's hard for me to pronounce some of these names, but I'm learning. Now, once we understand that the galactic system is a time clock, you've heard of the Mayan constellation, this December 21st, 22nd, 11/11 universal time being sort of like a end of a cycle. Okay? What is that about? Remember, somebody 2,000 years ago pressed a button and said start. But right now it's 2010. And just a few years from this, as the ancients, the Mayans, the Hopis, the Anasazi, the Phoenicians, the Sumerians, they depict this as an end of an age. Okay? Now, when we really get down to the science, we'll understand and know that the sun is a very predictable star.